Hello everyone, Professor Duncan here, and I'd like to take a few minutes today to review specifically what constitutes a scholarly journal article. Students understandably often have questions about what meets the criteria for a scholarly journal article, and oftentimes they wonder why they can't use a website where they probably found great information like baby.com or pregnancy.com or a great government site. However, we're going to learn today why those sites or a magazine that has been submitted does not meet the criteria for a scholarly journal article. Okay? And just to highlight a few things written in this information was provided from the online library and in the FAQs, and I'll show you that when we're done. But one of the things that's outlined here, that articles are written by a scholar in the field, by someone who has done research in the field, okay? For example, if you are going to be writing your literature review on Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development, and you're looking for information on that, you are going to look in a journal article where someone has actually carried out research in that area, okay? Maybe they've tested stage 1, stage 2, they've actually had a study conducted, and it was submitted to a journal because it met all the rigid criteria set forth. We're going to talk about that in a moment, okay? And then the main purpose of a scholarly journal is to report on original research or experimentation in order to make such information available. I think I just kind of covered that up above, okay? So it's someone who has already carried out research and then it's met certain criteria to be published in a journal article, okay? Now, a really important part is down here is that they are often peer-reviewed. And when you look at websites such as baby.com or articles submitted in Time Magazine, then you're not looking at an article that has been peer-reviewed. And let's go down here. I'm going to explain more what that means. The online library has put together a video prepared from the North Carolina State University Libraries. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and then we'll end with a few more comments in regards to your literature review and what peer review means.
Have you gotten the peer-reviewed article assignment yet? If not, you probably will at some point in college. Why do profs ask you to find these articles? What's the big deal with peer review? What is peer review anyway? And why is it so important? As you know, professors and researchers at colleges and universities are up to a lot more than teaching students. They're also really busy creating new knowledge. They create this new knowledge by studying what people already know and then experimenting to find out more. This knowledge might be a new way of thinking about a problem, or understanding a poem, understanding how the human body works, or the nature of the physical world itself. So what's all this got to do with peer-reviewed articles? Well, over time, let's say the past 250 years or so, peer-reviewed articles have become a standard way to keep track of new knowledge being produced. Peer-reviewed articles are different from other types of writing because they're scrutinized by expert scholars. But before we get into that, first, let's take a look at how new knowledge is often produced. Say you're a researcher, like your prof, and you have an idea for a research study. To carry out the study, you need some money, so often you apply for a grant, but not always. If your idea is good, you get the money and carry out your research. Then you collect the results, analyze it, and then explain what it all means. At this point, you likely attend some conference or meeting that's interested in your new knowledge, and there you share some of your results and get some feedback, informally. Then you take what you have and write it up as a draft article, also called a manuscript, which you then submit to a journal publisher. At the publishers, an editor will take a look at your submission, and if they think it is a right fit for the journal, they send a copy of your submission to a group of experts to judge your work. And this is where peer review happens. These experts are considered your peers because they're studying similar things as you, and hence the term peer review. They are also sometimes called referees, and so peer-reviewed articles are also called refereed articles. But these peers are considered experts because they've already contributed a lot of new knowledge themselves, and they've established a good reputation and tend to stay up to date on what's going on in their field. In this peer review process, they look at your submission and ask questions like, what is this new knowledge about? Is it interesting? Is it significant? What methods did you use to come up with it? Do you make sense? Are you logical? And most importantly, has this knowledge already been discovered by someone else? If they think your work is up to snuff, they will recommend that your manuscript be published as an article in that journal. But even then, they usually ask you to make changes to improve it. Most submissions don't get accepted. Anywhere from 30 to 90% of submissions end up in the reject pile. The most prestigious journals tend to have a higher rejection rate. And this whole process can happen within a few weeks, or up to 2 years. Once the journal is published, it is sent to a library that subscribes to it. And it usually is a library because individual subscriptions are way too expensive. From the library, students and researchers can find out about this new knowledge and develop an idea for a research study of their own. So let's recap. Peer-reviewed articles are an integral part of how new knowledge is created and shared. Peer review can also happen here when applying for a grant, and here when planning a conference program. Conference papers are also published and made available through the library. By the way, like all established systems, the peer review process has its critics, and scholars continue to think about how the peer review process might be improved. If you need help finding peer-reviewed articles on your topic, check out the library's article databases, or ask a librarian.
Okay, one of the most important pieces in the video that I heard was that the peer review, the journal articles are different than other websites or magazines because they're scrutinized by expert scholars. That's really important when you're looking at the journal article databases that you're going to be researching for your literature review paper. And as I said earlier, many students question why they can't use different websites or Time Magazine because they may have found great information, but the article has not been put to the test, so to speak. It hasn't been reviewed by other colleagues and peers, so therefore it's not in a scholarly journal, which is the assignment itself, to review 6 scholarly articles for the literature review. And up here you'll see, this is a key point as well, many of the journal article databases, including EBSCO and ProQuest in our online library, allow you to limit your search results to scholarly peer-reviewed content. And it tells you to look at the option near the search box to do that. So you certainly are welcome to send me an email if you have any more questions about this. You also can ask a library through the link in the online library. So we're more than happy to help, and I'm very excited to read everybody's literature review. And I hope everybody has a great day.